Wow, we're live and my earbud just came out. Wow, you know
That's
what?
not a good thing.
I love that music. I know that's just
The
standard.
countdown?
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
countdown. I just like the beat. We're gonna have to put some music
Ding,
on our
ding,
channel
ding.
so that we can just rock more to that. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Nola has her glass of wine.
Yes.
And your cup, your wine glass.
That's Mom.
Yeah, why don't you show everybody that? That's a special wine glass.
Hope it's coming through.
Yeah, it is. It looks great. So those of you who are watching us live, thanks for being here. Those of you who are watching the replay, appreciate your support. And today we actually have some really cool things going on. Today we're going to be talking about some new tech that we just that we've posted just recently this weekend a review on. And we're going to talk just very briefly about it because I want you guys to check out that video. And really, the good portion of the time today, we're going to spend it focusing on e-bikes. And this is something that you had suggested.
Yes. I'm actually looking forward to this podcast because we are e-bike lovers. So I think educating people on e-bikes is really important. So
yeah. And the cool thing about it is that Chicago, things are starting to get warm, but the city is not cooperating with us. It's kind of like it wants to get warm and then it doesn't. We've had some really good nights.
It's like you turn on your air, turn on your heat, turn on your air, turn on your heat. It's like bipolar.
It is a little, like right? It has been a little bit, but the weather's becoming beautiful. And as you know, as the days pass, and we're starting to see more people on scooters, and we're going to do an episode that's going to focus on scooters. We also have a lot more e-bikes coming. I have like well over 30 e-bikes that we reviewed last year. This year, it's going to be a great year also for e-bikes. There's a lot of things that have changed in the supply chain. So you're going to see that the e-bike, there's just going to be more on the channel. And some of the ones that we looked at.
They're so much fun.
They're super fun.
Oh my God.
They're super fun. And one of the things we wanted to do as we kicked off this session. Oh, and by the way, we do have a special guest.
Yes.
Make sure that you stick
around.
That's
what I'm most excited about.
Right. We have a guest that will be joining us. Brian Razzo is going to be joining us. And he is a local small business person that really gives back to the community. And we invited him on. He's a dear friend of ours. And, you know, suited with this, I would say the theme of e-bikes, he has a special event that is great for kids that we donated one of the e-bikes that we had reviewed on the channel to help him with a fundraising event. So what we want to do is just make sure that you guys know what he does for the community, what he does for his kids. And if you guys want to participate, we're talking, it's an amazing, amazing bike. It's a beast of a bike.
It is a beast.
So, you could get a beautiful bike and also support
we'll talk about it later,
a great cause. Yes. So we're gonna go get into that. But before we get into things, one of the things that we wanted to do is talk about e-bikes, because I think that there's a lot of confusion or just not enough information about e-bikes. And you know, how does the state of Illinois look at e-bikes? So before we go into like the laws, and Nola's going to talk about the laws because she is like the law person.
All right, I'm just going to run for, general, attorney of Illinois. I don't know nothing about laws, but I know about e-bikes.
Okay, so we're going to cover up the laws. They'll learn our credibility really quick. We're going to go
Kim Fox is retiring, so I might just take over.
Okay, you may take over.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about the e-bikes, and there are 3 classes of e-bikes that you all have to be aware of. And I'll just go over them just to give you a sense of what they are. So there are a class 1, class 2, and class 3. So that's pretty straightforward when you think about e-bikes. The one thing about it is that each e-bike basically has a different feature or capability based on the class. And it's not just how they operate, but it's also the speed. And what you have to be aware of is that Illinois will support all 3 e-bikes, but you have to understand some of the things that are going on with the law there. So first of all, you have a class 1 e-bike, and the class 1 e-bike is pedal assist only. So what that means is that as you're riding your bike, you really don't have a throttle. There's no throttle on the bike. And we actually have one that we're going to share with you, and you'll see it's from a company called the Avatar. Matter of fact, those bikes, the class 1 type that don't have a throttle, are considered higher end because of how they sense the pedaling and how it contributes to it. But you can still get up to well over 20 miles an hour, but it's going to require some pedal power. There is no throttle. There's no laying back and taking a cruise, right? This is really, you can put some work into it, but it's a great solution. And it's not crazy amount of work. The other one that we have is the class 2. And the class 2 has a throttle. So this is the great type that if you are riding a bike and you want to be able to chill, right? So with the pedal assist standard ones, as you're pedaling, you almost have superpowers. I know you freaked out the first time
Oh, when
you
I
rode one.
first, the first one that we tried out, oh yeah, I was like, I like zoomed right through the school parking lot.
Yeah,
What class was that one?
that's a class 3.
That was a class 3.
That's a class 3, and it's almost as if you were Iron Man. Think about Iron Man for a couple seconds. Imagine if all of a sudden you could just zoom and take off. So with the pedal assist, you could go really fast, right? It's like you can get up to 28, 30 miles an hour just pedaling like you would a normal bike.
On a normal bike.
Yeah.
But when you add the pedal assist, that's a different story.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you could go really fast. So the class 2 is a pedal assist, but here's the kicker about the pedal assist. The class 2 e-bike, you can only go 20 miles an hour. So that's going to have a limitation, right?
Mhm.
I'm just going to keep this guy off since he wants to come off. 20 miles an hour, and that's the top speed that you're going to get. But the cool thing about it is that, again, you'll have that throttle on the side. If you do want to just ride the bike without any kind of pedaling, you can do it. And by the way, the range of these bikes is pretty spectacular. For those of you who are in the Illinois area, and we are in Chicago, in the Oak Lawn area, you can actually get from let's say the south side of Chicago to almost like
Lake
Galena
Geneva?
or Lake Geneva.
Lake Geneva.
Yeah, Lake Geneva, because some of these bikes have 70 to 90-mile ranges.
That's
So
insane.
it's crazy how far they can go. So imagine getting on a bike, going to Gurney Mills,
Mhm.
right? Going to Great America, staying at a hotel if you like. I would
Just-
after that.
I'm not, my ass can handle it. I'm sorry.
It's like we have to leave that one out. But imagine getting up there and then just plugging your bike, and then the next day coming back home.
Coming back home.
Yeah, so you can pedal. So then the next class is the class 3, and the class 3 is it has a throttle, but the difference here is that it could go up to 28 miles an hour. And I'd say that some of them could go even faster. We have some on our channel that can go up to 35. They have a mode that's called off-road, and the off-road mode allows you to go fast. And Nola, you've gone more than 28. You've gone like really fast.
I've gone between 32 and 34 miles per hour.
Yeah.
On an e-bike.
Yeah. So your body type really. So I'm a bigger guy. She's much more small than I am. She's tinier.
I wonder if I'll go more faster since I lost some weight. So.
You probably will go much faster. So your weight actually plays a factor in how fast the e-bike is going to go. But she's been going up to 35.
Yeah.
My son, I'll ride the
forget about
same
it.
bike that he does. Like we're literally
Yeah.
riding 2 bikes that are classified to go 35 or faster. And he outperforms me every single time. And that is, again, because of his body weight
yeah.
compared to mine. So you have those three types, right? So you have 1, 2, and 3. Let's talk about the laws. Why don't you help us understand, like, what are some of the rules of the road when you're riding a bike?
Well, you got to treat the e-bikes just like you treat the bicycles in Illinois. You got to ride it on the right side of the road. Also, you got to use turning signals. You got to stop at red lights. Can't just go past through them. And you got to also stop at stop signs. And you have to be 16 years old or older to ride a class 3.
That's crazy. I didn't know
16.
that. 16 years old. Wow. So can you ride a class 1 or class 2? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say. Just for class 3. I'm assuming you can. You're talking about for the age?
Yeah, for the age.
But class 3 is super fast.
Yeah, I would think so. It would make sense. Now, keep in mind, guys, that having even a class 1 or class 2 or even a scooter, highly recommend that you all wear a helmet. Helmets are a must. Helmets are a must. We have had friends that have had bike injuries as they've been riding their bikes, where they've just power biking or just think about just normal pedaling, have had serious injury. So having a helmet is really important, and not all helmets are equal. So there is a playlist to this to all the bikes that we reviewed that's going to be connected to this podcast. You could see all the bikes that we reviewed and also the helmets, which are all certified.
Yeah, you can use Bluetooth. You can take calls from them, listen to music as you're riding.
Yeah. But more importantly, it protects your head. It protects your head. So you want to you want to do that. So so the bikes, that was one thing I really hadn't really thought about, that the bikes, you do have to obey the rules of the road, that you have to stop at stop signs. You have to
I
stop at stoplights.
I always thought regular bicycles that you can ride them on the sidewalks, you can pass the red light stop sign, but no, apparently the law is the law. You gotta stay, and that's the reason why the city of Chicago has made all these bike lanes.
Yep. So here's the other thing is, if you really think about this, how many of you thought that you can actually ride the bike on the sidewalk, right? As a kid, right? That's where I rode. This is where that's where we taught our kids. That's where I was taught to ride. And still to this day, you want to get on the sidewalk. You feel safer.
Exactly.
Right? We even talked about, as we're testing all these e-bikes, that we want to go on the sidewalk. And I'm like, no, you can't. You're not supposed to ride a bike on
the sidewalk.
That was something that kind of blew me away when we were
at the beginning. It was a little scary, but then once you get used to it, it's like, okay.
Yeah. What about budget? What would you say about budget for e-bikes?
Well, depending on where you get in, what type of bike that you want to get, you can spend a couple hundreds or even a couple thousands. I know we've reviewed some that are, 3,000 to 4,000.
Yeah.
So it depends on the type of bike and the type of bike you're looking for and how much you're willing to spend. What's your budget?
Yeah. And what I'll say is that parts do matter. So we have reviewed some inexpensive bikes. I would put them in the affordable category, and the longevity is not that spectacular. And then when you start looking at the higher end ones that we're talking about, you start looking at, it's not just that they're higher end, but you start looking at the parts. So we've had a friend of ours who is like really into bikes, who checked out one of our e-bikes, and that guy was just like drooling over the parts. He was naming all the components and saying, these are really, really good bikes.
Yeah. He knew the tires. He knew pretty much everything. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Without even talking about the price, he said
he already knew what that was.
This is a several $1,000 bike based on all the parts you have. So the cool thing now is, if you recall when you were a kid, or if you're a teenager, ever getting a flat, oh my God, that's the worst thing that can happen. I've had flats on scooters. Thank God I haven't had one on a bike, because typically you're pretty far out when that happens. But now also the bikes have some of the tires, the bikes that we reviewed have tires that have Kevlar inside. And you think about Kevlar is what you see in the movies, or what you see in the vests for law enforcement, bulletproof. So you have that Kevlar material in that's going to make it super resistant. So cool. Also puncture resistant. And then you have some that even have inside of the tire that are self-sealing. So if you go over a nail, it's going to seal itself. It may lose some air, but as soon as you go over that nail or whatever it is, or even if you puncture it, you're going to be able to get back home without having any problem. So, the price does matter, as well as the battery.
Yeah, that's true. Regarding the tires, if you were to puncture one or something were to happen, I think you can take it like a Harley Davidson or a bike place. What do you?
Yeah, you can take it. Typically, you can go to any standard bike place and just change your tires. It's a bike shop, but what you'll run into is these are not going to be your standard bike tires, or your lower end bike tires. You'll want to replace with one that's equal of quality or superior. And in some cases, depending on the bikes that you have, and we're going to talk about bike types in a second. One of the things that you'll run into is that the tires themselves could be motorcycle grade, especially for a specific category called the fat tire bike. And those tires are like 4-inch wide. So they're super wide, but these are the ones that are going to be great to ride. They're super comfortable.
Smooth.
They're super smooth. You can use them in mud. You can use them on street. You can use them on grass. You can use them on snow. Sand, right? So if you go on holiday and you see people riding bikes on the sand, that's what they're doing. So let's talk about the types of bikes. And there's one here, Nelda, that is your favorite on the bike types. Do you want to talk about that very first one? Because that's the one that you always want.
I'm a girl. I need a step through bike. It's also, for people, I'm small. So to get over some of these bikes that we do have, it requires me to like tilt it over and get on it. So I like the step through because it's just more easier. And also this style features a slapping top tube that allows for easy mounting and dismounting. Step through frames are popular among riders who prefer a more uptight riding position and those wearing skirts and dresses.
Yeah.
Summer.
But I will say this, guys. I prefer a step through as well. I think I like the step throughs for certain reasons. Two that are there that I'll just highlight.
Protect the jewels.
Yes, you got to be protective. So it's about, yeah. So some of these bikes are pretty massive inside. So you want to make sure that you have, again, the right type of bike. And the step through, I would say at one point, you would say that it's gender specific. I don't think it's gender specific anymore. I actually enjoy cargo bikes that have the step through. So step through is definitely there. Now there's a couple other options that I'm going to highlight, and we're just going to go through these really quick because I want to show you a couple of the bikes that we've reviewed. First of all, you have the diamond frame. You have a folding frame, which I have to say
We
that
actually have a couple
we
of
have a
those.
lot of
Yeah,
folding
folded.
bikes.
And that's for people who commute
For
on
sure.
on the trains or something like that.
Or
Easier
even if like if the
small
cool thing
apartments.
about the folding bikes is that if you have an apartment,
Mhm.
you can fold it and put it away easily. The other thing is if you have a folding frame, you can put it in a truck much more easier
Exactly.
than it is a standard bike. And what else is there? It's just the overall convenience. I find that our foldable bikes are just much more easier to handle. They tend to be lower as well. So like
Yeah.
the mounting bar that you have, that main bar is also
Lower.
is a little bit lower. So then you have fat frame, and then you have one other category which is called the cargo frame. And we do have some cargo frame bikes, and there's one in particular that I really like. It's a cargo frame bike, but it's a two-seater, not like the standard two-seaters where you have one seat in front of the other, but it has kind of a longer saddle,
Mhm.
right? And then it has in the back the pegs like the motorcycle does, where you can actually get on the back.
And you put your the person who's riding behind you puts their feet right there.
Yeah, and
Which I do.
Yeah, and that's one of our
Favorite
one of the
one.
favorite ones. Also, we have a couple favorites, ones that if we're going to be riding together, and we use that, and then if we're going to be riding apart, we use the other one. So let's take a look at some of the bikes that we've reviewed. So we're going to go ahead and switch there for a second, so I can highlight some of the bikes.
That one's mine.
And yeah, Nelda immediately is going to call this one out. This is a fantastic bike
I
from
love that one.
C3 Strom. And why don't you talk about your experience with this guy right here?
Well, first off, if you know what do you notice about the bike? Because I said
It's not a step through.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for me because for some reason I'm 5'1 3/4", whatever, not even 5'2" yet. And I'm able to get on this bike easily. And then it rides so good, so smooth. This is the one that I went up to 34 miles an hour on pedal assist 1. I didn't even try the other ones.
Yeah. So it does look like a motorcycle, right? Or a moped,
a vintage
a
look.
vintage motorcycle. But you'll notice that it does have a pedal. It also has, it's just a very stocky looking bike.
It
it
so
looks
beautiful.
it's a spectacular bike. I really, really like this one. You can see what just normal pedaling, how I'm getting 15 miles an hour. And you can see in this view that we just are seeing right now, the actual view that the rider sees. It's a delight to ride.
It is. It is.
And it has, it's very comfortable. It has wide tires. The tires are more motorcycle like. And I would say that this is the class. I don't know what class I'd put this in because this is more like a vintage. You're going to see some of the other ones here.
Well, it looks like a motorcycle, like the vintage.
It does so much. And I love that it has a small cargo area in the back, but it's a single person bike. And
I don't share.
C3 Strom just makes it's this is a high end bike. This is over, I think 2,400 or 2,600. It's like 2,600. Yeah. But I will tell you, every single person that has this bike loves it. Absolutely loves it. There are people in New York. There are people in every city. There are people who actually use these in warmer climates as their main form of commute because you don't have to pedal.
You don't.
I'm pedaling right here, and I am talking and pedaling and not losing any kind of breath because I'm not putting any effort in getting 10 miles an hour.
But you do get some kind of exercise,
You do.
So
well, and you can adjust that. You can adjust that. So this is again a great, a great option for those of you who are really wanting to have a bike experience, but at the same time, there may be some physical limitations that limit you from riding a bike like that. And I'm going to bring up another one. So go ahead.
No, I said like me. I have a lot of bike limitations.
You have a lot of bike limitations. So check this one out. So here's another one that we have, and this is from Hey Bike. Great supporter of the channel. And you'll notice that this one has thinner tires. And I'm going to go pause it right here. And then let me see if I can get it right there. You'll notice that this one has a nice storage rack in the back. It looks very vintage. And this one right here, let's go ahead and blow that up so you guys can see that really good. This is a great, but this is a step through, right? This is super easy to ride.
I don't think I took that one off for a run.
Yep. But you've ridden the style, right?
That's
So
the older version.
yeah. So you'll notice the tires are a little bit smaller. They're thinner. This is not the 4-inch thick tires. Great saddle. Not foldable, but this is, again, one of the other bike types that we take a look at on the channel as well. There's some other ones here. Let's go ahead and exit out of this because I want to show you some of the other types that we have. And we're going to look at, let's look at this guy right here. This is a foldable bike. Let's go ahead and pause that so you can see this one. And again, we're going to have all these links for those of you who may be interested. What I like about this one is that not only is it a foldable bike, it's actually a really, really cool looking bike. And it folds, which means it's going to be super compact, great for an apartment, great if you're looking to go on a ride. If you're going to be doing RVing of any form, this is something that works well. And then you'll notice that it has a cargo area in the back. Those little bags, those little pouches in the back are waterproof. You can put lunch, you can put a laptop, like the sides open up and there's an extension that comes out where you can carry some really significant stuff, even groceries. You can bring in these. Super fast as well. And again, this is a great quality bike. And you can see by the thickness of the tires that this falls into the 4-inch wide category, right? So this is going to be somewhat of a fat tire, but it's going to be a smaller tire. So this is, again, something that we have right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch for a second. We're actually going to bring in Brian on stream, invite him on so that we can talk a little bit more about, one of the events that he is hosting. And
hey,
Brian,
how's it going?
Hey, so Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about your school? And then I have a series of questions that Noel and I prepared that we'd like to go through.
Yes.
Sure. So we are a martial arts school based out of Elsip, Illinois. We are right off of Calsag Road, so 5524 West Calsag Road. I've been here for about 10 years now. I've been doing Taekwondo since I was 12. I was little. So yeah. And as far as the school goes, we do a couple different martial arts, but we mainly stick with the Taekwondo. That's our bread and butter here. But we also do jujitsu and different mixed martial arts like Muay Thai and things like that as well. So.
Yep. Nice. And again, anybody interested? Do you talk to us about can anybody just walk in? How do things work when they come to your school?
Absolutely. Anybody could just walk in. I take everybody and anybody, and people from different schools also come here as well. We're pretty much open to anybody and everybody that wants to walk in and learn a new martial art or continue their martial arts training. So.
Yep. Yeah. And your place is not just about martial arts, but you also, do personal training, right?
Yes, we also do personal training. We have group classes, personal training. I specialize in sports specific training, and then I also help with weight loss. And I have a degree in health science, so with a concentration in fitness and exercise.
Excellent. So we have a couple of questions. Actually, Nilda's going to be going through some of these questions with you. So let's go ahead and go to question number 1.
Sure.
Oh, question number 1. You want to talk about what we just donated?
Yeah. Let's talk about what we donated.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as you know, we just donated an e-bike to your Taekwondo, and to help with the fundraising for an important tournament that you guys are having is it July?
It's in July. Yes, it's the July 4th weekend or week actually.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So I guess my question to you is, how has this donation made a difference for your students and your school?
It's huge, to be honest, and I really thank you guys for that. It's actually helping us. It's actually helping us get these students who don't have the means to get there, to help them get there. And it definitely helps tremendously. And I'm trying to split up the money as evenly as I can to get my students there. And it's going to help, pay for flights. It's going to help pay for hotel and things like that. So, I'm sorry.
How many students do you have?
In my whole school or going to nationals?
Going to nationals. And and if
Uh,
you want to go in,
in my whole school, I have over 60, about 62.
fantastic.
And in my going to nationals right now, I have 12 going.
Nice.
Wow.
Congratulations to the Tawal.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it looks like you have all age groups, because as we're going through your Facebook, we can see that there's some younger kids,
Yes.
all different ages. Could you talk to us about the age groups?
Sure. So I take them as young as 4. I actually one of my kids that are becoming a black belt, May 20th. He's been with me since he was 4. He's 10 now, so he's been
About to
here for
say he's
6
not a
years.
4-year-old black belt, because I'd be right.
No, he's not a 4-year-old black belt. No, but I do have.
It's like, wait a minute. It's like a 4-year.
No, I take them as young as 4, and I have adults up to 60, almost 70 years old. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
What?
they're
Like, oh my God, no.
I fit right in.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So this is hilarious. So that's a fantastic range, right? That you have of
yes,
kids and then also adults. And
yes,
let's go in. We have another question for you, and that is really about, really about sharing. Could you share some details about, the tournament, the students that will be participating, and why
sure,
it's so important to them?
sure. So this is an AAU sanctioned event, and it's
What does
held every year.
what does that mean?
It's the Amateur Athletic Union.
Okay.
And so this is a big deal. This is actually, so for some of my students, especially my black belts that are going, they can get to the AAU national team, and then they can travel all over the world if they win at this national event. So
Wow.
so they can travel with the AAU national team all over the world if they can um, win at this event, and that would be awesome for them to do that. And and AAU basically sponsors them, and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully my kids can, especially my black belts, can get there. And for the kids that aren't black belts yet, this is a step in the right direction for them to get to that level, and maybe even make a junior Olympic team or the Olympic team when they get older. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Yeah, this is this.
how has this fundraising been helping you reach your students and you reaching this goal to make it to nationals?
It is helping tremendously. Seriously, I mean, I know you guys saw my popcorn fundraiser, and then you
Yeah.
guys were generous enough to donate the e-bike that you guys donated. And man, is it helping? I mean, seriously, it is. And we also, yes, as you see on the screen there, we also did another fundraiser for the Super Bowl squares.
Oh yeah, I remember
Um,
that one.
Oh, fun.
yeah, so yeah, we're doing everything we can to help our students get to the next level, and that's basically my whole goal. Is when I started this, 8 to 10 years ago, or 8 to 10 years ago, when I started this school, was to give these kids the experience that I had, and then help them go beyond that.
Yeah, and that really goes to our next question, and that is like, what motivates you to do this? Because it seems like you have a lot of young adults and children,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, as a parent, that requires a lot of patience, right?
Yes.
He's got a halo. He's got a halo right now. What is that?
So what motivates you to actually do this?
So the love of martial arts. To be honest with you, I love Taekwondo. I love martial arts in general. I love learning. I love learning new things. And then at the same time, when a child or a kid or even an adult, I teach them a kick, and they get it and they perfect it, and that motivates me, because and then I want to teach the next kid that when the next kid walks in, and then what else helps is now I have other higher belts that actually are now teaching, and
Mm.
they're teaching the way my style of teaching. So they teach the way I teach, and it's just being passed down from when my instructors would teach, then they would teach me. Now I'm teaching my students, and they're teaching the way even my instructor's instructor would teach. So it's a great thing to see. It's awesome to watch. And, and I like, you had a couple kids on there, like Lyric, who's 8, who helps me teach class, and she's only 8 years old.
Wow.
So it's really awesome to see some of these kids grow and start from white belt and make their way up through the belt ranks. And that's what motivates me. That's really what motivates me.
Now, some will be concerned also because when you think about martial arts, it is about punching, it's about kicking, it's about hurting a bag, and then also when you go to the tournaments, you're not kicking a bag, you're actually kicking someone else, right? So, how do parents ever come in concerned about, like, what are their children going to walk out and what they're going to be able to do to others, and how do you
hold them back?
Yeah, how does that work?
So they do. There's a lot of parents that do. They get concerned of, especially what happens outside of class. And how I approach that is I do tell the kids, this is something that you use last resort, especially outside of class. And what is going on in our world, we do need self-defense. Everybody needs self-defense, I feel. But this is something that they, we're not bullies. We're not going to sit here and, we're not pushing people around or anything like that. But this is something that we use last resort. Now, as far as tournaments go, or when we sit here and we practice, we're sparring in class and things like that, parents do get concerned, but we use junior safety rules in our tournaments and in my classes. So the kids, of course, in any sport like football or basketball or softball or baseball, whatever, you can get hurt. It might happen. And this is a combat sport for sure. But we do use junior safety rules. That means light contact to the head, light contact to the body. And when you're a kid and when you just like to fight, some kids just go at it, and I let them go at it. And some parents are cool with it. Some parents want me to kind of, hold the kid back a little bit, which I do. I try to even out everybody as much as I can. So,
yeah.
So you don't say sweep the leg?
It's like
not in my school.
Pastor Razzo.
Yeah.
We'll be back in. Oh, that's a different.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy. So Brian, beyond the tournament, what other opportunities do you provide your students, so that they can grow and excel in? And you talked, I think you already spoke a little bit about it, the fact that you have students that also, I would say, coach other kids or that train as well. But is there anything else? Like, what else do you do?
So besides that, I do take I do take students to one of my old instructors, Master Luciano Medina, who coached the Costa Rican Olympic team.
Wow.
So that's another opportunity they've had. They can go to and learn from him as well. So they have 2 different styles of Taekwondo, and and we also went to see or visit Steve Lambden, who is one of the Olympic coaches for the United States of America. And my kids got an opportunity to train with him. But outside of the whole, outside of all the tournaments and things like that, I do give kids opportunities to come in here to my school. I have a whole weight training that I can put them through, that I do put them through, and to keep them not just in shape for Taekwondo, but just in shape, just to be in shape, and to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Childhood obesity is a real thing.
Absolutely.
Real thing. And that is something that I'd say that if there is an education happening at a very early age, you can develop bad habits that will stay with you throughout your adulthood. And then you have to pay for it.
Yes.
And I don't
Yes.
like you have to pay for it. You pay for it. Like literally you have to pay for it.
Absolutely. A whole trainer.
It's like, you got to pay for it.
What I like is the mental training that he gives his students. That takes a lot, especially at such a young age. How they're developing that mentality and how to handle situations and stuff like that. So
there's a lot of focus that goes into martial arts in general. There's a lot of focus, and especially a parents, a lot of the kids, they don't like doing what in Korean is called pumse, but they're forms, or in some people know them as katas, but they don't. A lot of kids don't like doing them, but they're actually, as much as when I was a kid, I didn't like doing them either, to be honest. But uh, as an adult and as an instructor now, I actually understand them. They actually provide focus, and they help kids with strengthening. They help strengthening legs, strengthening muscles. Also, I make the kids sit there in a certain punch for a while and just sit there, and they have to, and it helps them focus tremendously. And a lot of the kids don't like it, but the parents love it when they get home and they're like, wow, my kid's way more focused now in the last 3-4 months than he's ever been or she's ever been.
Yes.
So
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Do you have, because this is a great segue to the next one, and that is, do you have any success stories, things that you can share with us, inspiring moments from a student's journey, right? That you've seen. You talked about that 4-year-old black belt, but
Sure,
now,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
10-year-old, it was a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Actually, I have many state champions in multiple different states. Michigan, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois. So yeah, we go all over. We compete at a high level. We compete at high levels there. Also, I have a few national champions as well. Kylan, he's one of my older guys, bigger guys. He's a national champion. Nicolette, she's also a national champion as well. She's 12. So, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of success stories inside and outside of Taekwondo. I have a couple kids. One of my students is now in the Air Force. So, and it's really awesome to hear that he's doing really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool to hear.
Is it, from a gender perspective, is it pretty mixed, or do you see one dominating one or the other side, or how?
No, when I started, it was mostly male. It was male dominant. And when I started my class, now it's primarily mixed. I actually might have more female fighters than I do male fighters now. So and the female fighters are taking over. That's for sure. They're kicking some butt. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things, just wanted to continue to plug the work that you're doing. I'm going to bring up the bike because I want to tease folks about that bike just really quickly, because that is a fantastic bike. Has great range. We're going to bring it up really quick right here. And let's see if that updates. Fantastic brand. Definitely. This is going to be on more, I'd say that they're affordable based on the quality that they have. But this is what we're talking about. So this is the bike that is being raffled, that is being leveraged to be able to support the good works that Brian and his team is going through.
Let's help them reach their goals.
And we want to help them reach their goal. And you know what?
Please.
It'd be great for someone to win this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you guys can anybody can DM me on Facebook, at the Razor Sharp Martial Arts Facebook, if you guys want to do that. That's or you guys are more than welcome to walk in.
Yeah. All right. And check this out from a spec perspective, 750 watts, which means that it falls into the compliance of a class 3 in Illinois. They simply have to stay within the 750. You'll notice that it says it's class 3. 70-mile range. Think about how far you can go.
See ya.
70 miles. And then we were talking about,
that's another question. That's another thing, important thing about weight.
Weight, yeah. 400 pounds. Now, we hope, we just talked about that a couple seconds ago. This is a cargo bike, right? Cargo. You are not the cargo, even though you're part of it. It's like, so we're hoping that you can add another 200 in cargo, or maybe 300 in cargo. But you can see that this is a fat tire bike, so you can see what the specs look like. This is actually on our channel. It's a really beast of a bike. And let me go ahead and hit next on this. Again, has the removable battery, has again the cargo area, the step through frame, which is going to be great for any gender. and it's
Not
really
gender specific.
it's considered a mountain bike, right? Just because of how it's constructed. And the neat thing about this is that the bike is the battery is removable, as you can see here. And it's just a fantastic solution.
I-
Hey Bike makes great bikes.
They do. They do. They do. Whoever wins this is gonna fall in love with it.
Yeah, it has front suspension, great front suspension. So once again, this is going to be more importantly, it's great for the kids. It's great for the community. And I would say that having been brought up in martial arts myself,
No lie. He's not lying.
yeah, we
You can still do splits.
I've seen pictures.
we
Yeah.
it turned out pretty good. We turned out pretty good. And so when you talk about discipline, I hated katas too, but it was something.
You had to do that?
Yeah, we had to do that, and then leg raises, and everything was repetition, like over and over and over again.
Oh, it explains so much.
It's explained so much,
Mhm.
but you grow up.
Took me 31 years
to figure that out.
Wow.
So so definitely. So Brian, give us one more plug for your place. Give us your address, your
Sure.
Facebook. Give us ways that folks can contact you to support this wonderful cause. I'll put something up on the screen as well. And so that those that are not only looking to support your program, but also who may want to participate.
Sure. Yeah. So it's called Razor Sharp Martial Arts and Fitness. We are located at 5524 West Calstag Road. You guys can always come on in at any point. You can even call me or DM me, and at the Facebook that Milton has up on screen. And yeah, you guys are more than welcome to come check us out. I give actually a free week of classes as well, just so you guys can try it out. And it's going from, like I said, I train kids from 4 to adults who are in their 60s and 70s. So again, I'm open to anybody and everybody. I just want everybody to learn what I've learned since I was 12. So 23 years now. So
yeah, and what I will say is being flexible prevents injury. So
absolutely, it does.
That's why I'm falling apart.
That's why Nelda's falling apart. Stick around with us a little bit, Brian. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Do the right thing for you guys, and then also, as we said, future events. We wherever we can, we want to also support your kids.
And we love
absolutely
business, and we love Brian. So this makes it so much better.
Yeah.
And we hope your team reaches their goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Oh, the drawing is going to be May 30th. So
May 30th.
Hopefully,
there's still time.
Hopefully, we can get back on. I'm hoping I can get back on before that with you guys and maybe make that drawing.
Yeah, we'll do the drawing live, right? So
yeah,
we'll go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Sure. So stick around for a second. Cool. One of the things I want to highlight, guys, is and Brian and I we're actually talking about this. These are some earbuds that we just reviewed on the channel, and as we talked about, the channel is about reviewing tech. This podcast is about the tech that we review on the channel, and then also some news. And this is definitely for us because it's local. We thought it would be appropriate that we share with you kind of Brian's journey, and then it's also an opportunity for all of us to give back because everybody can make a difference. And this product, which just came in a couple days ago, is absolutely spectacular. You guys know that we review a lot of audio products on the channel, and I'd say that we probably founded some of the, I would say, hardest torture tests when it comes to audio. We see a lot of other content creators really starting to take advantage of some of the technology and doing different type of scenario type noises to be able to prove how well these work. Because let's face it, a lot of us are working from home or have mixed, I would say, at-home hybrid type lifestyles, and having great call quality matters. And I want to say that this is from a company called Status Between 3 A and C. They're relatively expensive, not crazy expensive, but they have fantastic call quality, one of the best call qualities that I've seen. So I encourage you to check out our channel so you can watch the video. And then the audio quality is spectacular. This is one of the few.
It is true. There's no lie.
And I want you guys to hear the Nilda experience, because they actually have 3 drivers. They have a bass driver, a mid driver, and a treble driver, which you don't really find in many audio products. So it's like, if you think about your phone, and now a lot of the phones like this one right here, it has 3 lenses or cameras for different focuses, right? For something for its distance, one is a macro, one is a wide angle. The same thing is happening with these guys right here. So you have different, again, drivers that's going to give you that audio experience. And Nilla didn't believe me. I said,
I didn't.
So let's talk about your experience.
I did. I put it in my ear. I'm like, oh, I'm not liking this. It doesn't feel good. And then all of a sudden he kept saying, wait. And all of a sudden he put the noise cancellation on. That was the first one he put on. I was like, oh, I'm liking this. And then he put the music on, and then he put the different levels of music. And I chose the last one. I forgot which one it was. But anyways, it sounded so good. And it didn't even feel like I had earbuds on. That's just the weirdest part. Because when I originally put them on, I felt it. Yeah. But once the music came on or the call quality came in, totally didn't even realize they were in my ear.
Yeah. So iPhone, Android, right? They're going to work with both. And the one thing about it is that it has immersive audio. It's almost like spatial audio, probably. So
it's like you're there.
You're there. So music typically plays at you. If you think about if you've ever been in a music situation where the music is playing at you, and then you could have music that's behind you, or you can have music that's to the left or to the right. And what ends up happening is even music, sometimes loud music doesn't sound well, right? Because of how it's basically sent at you. These would be like if you're in a studio and you're sitting right next to the guitarist, if you're sitting right next to the vocal singer, because you're in the moment. So it's incredibly immersive. So if you're looking for a late Mother's Day gift,
it's never late. It's Mother's Day every day. Okay,
it's Mother's Day every day. You can blame it on blame it on whichever marketplace you go to get your goods. Android and iOS. Check out the review. Fantastic product. Wanted to mention it. And also the JLab review is up. We're not going to talk about it today. Check out it should be up later on tonight. And it did extremely well. Incredible value because they're like sub 100.
That's not bad.
It's a really good one. Wow. So guys, we're going to wrap up today's podcast. We're going to thank Brian for joining us today. Thank all of you for watching us today or tomorrow, or maybe the day after. Make sure you subscribe, support our channel, give us a like. It's going to help us grow, and we'll be able to continue to share more products with you.
Yes, and looking forward to seeing you next week and talk about more
tech. Thank you.
And good luck to Brian and his team, and hopefully we'll have you soon on next week or so on the channel.
And we're gonna come back and we're gonna see who the lucky winner is.
Oh yes,
it'd be great if we could get all the participants, everybody who's in the raffle. If you could join the podcast, that would be spectacular, because we would love to be able to have you on and just get your reaction when that wheel goes round and round.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Brian. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys do for me. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks for watching.
Good work.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.